Satan, baby, what are you up to?
I'm picking out outfits.
Why? You look great.
You know that God jerk? He pretends he's also Jesus and some magical spirit or some shit.
Okay.
Making a whole universe and banishing me to this shithole wasn't enough for him. He just has to have all the cool alter egos too.
So, what are you gonna go with?
Let's see, I'm Satan. That's rad. How about some guy that lives for all your sins and is likable at parties? Jesus. Cooler than Jesus because I'll have a variety of Jesus.
Yeah, what else?
I don't know, maybe a demon doll or something.
Well, we already have like a whole possessed doll department, but you do you, boo. Meatloaf's a little dry, honey.
Well, I was busy doing yoga.
Yeah, must have been a great workout. I think I could hear you pant heavily.
Well, my instructor Chad is rather vigorous.
Oh, crap. Oh, no.
What?
Oh, shit, honey. We forgot to say grace.
Oh, fuck. Get the door. I'll get the windows.
Oh, no. Satan.
Too late, fuckers. That's right. You know the rules. You don't say grace, I get an automatic invite to dinner. Yummy. What do we have here? Meatloaf? My favorite.
I guess I better get you a plate.
No need, Karen. I'll just scoop some mashed potatoes with that,
Dude, at least use a spoon.
And I'll need to steal a ketchup or something kind of dry meatloaf, Karen.
What? My meatloaf? Dry? No.
Well, if you didn't spend so much time with Chad, wink wink, you'd have more time preparing a better meatloaf.
Fine, you've had your meal. Can you go now?
Ha! You wish. Also forgot to have little Timmy say his prayers, so I'm gonna spend the night under his bed and giving him nightmares. That's right.
For fuck's sake.
Ugh, that meatloaf was kind of heavy. I'm gonna go crawl under Timmy's bed now.
I knew your cooking would always get us into trouble.
I've had enough of this. I'm going to do some more yoga.
Got any Tums or maybe Pepto-Bismol or something?
Yeah, I take it every night.
Thank you, Satan. At least somebody's paid attention to me.
Go to bed, Timmy.
And I what?
Took a left at the valley.
That's the name of our show, man.
It's all good.
What's the name of the show?
It's all good. It's all good.
What again?
Are we Canadian?
Remember, I'm stuck in this hotel room.
All right, let's take you a shot. All right, Pirate, go for it.
Arr, this is Dread Pirate Higgs of the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, and I'm on this fabulous show.
Good enough. Good enough.
I know we shouldn't have to scream that we're atheists. We don't have non-astrologers and all that. But with religious people taking over the world, we can either speak up or be pushed into a corner.
I'm proud to be an atheist, a skeptic, a non-believer, an infidel, a heathen. I call it how I see it. I say it's ignorance and you just call it faith and unsubstantiated claims. That's something to be ashamed. I'm an atheist.
Coming at you from Burning BC, Alligator, Florida, and FU, Texas, this is Left to the Valley 2.0. My name is Kevin, and if anyone gets a message from me about canned meat, don't open it. It's spam. Joining me as usual is a team that don't get into your event unless you've got tacos.
Tacos, man. Oh.
Yeah.
She tried starting the day without coffee once. Her court date is pending. Sabrina.
Right.
He had a deja vu moment, the feeling of hearing that crap before. Brett Lee.
Hey.
And his dad used to roll him downhill in tires. Those were good years. Benjamin.
Hey. You got to do something with all 10 of those kids.
That's right.
Guys, welcome back. I hope you had a great time and a great week.
Oh yeah,
Welcome back to
definitely.
the show. So this week we'll be talking to John Richards of Atheism UK. That'll be in the second half of the show. But first, as per usual, let's go with a chit chat. All right. Well, you guys follow the Tokyo Olympics?
No.
A little bit.
Oh, I watched a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty much over now.
I think I need to.
There
see
was
that.
this. I wanted to start with some good news. Did you guys see this great moment in sportsmanship? There's usually when we do these kind of episodes and we have a chit chat, we have a lot of bad news. But I thought it started with good news.
Mhm.
There was a couple of high jumpers. Qatar's high jumper. His name is Mutaz Essa Bashim. He's 30. And he's got a rival, and they've actually become friends over the years. Italy's Gianmarco Tambori, and he's 29. Now, these guys are high jumpers, and they've been rivals for years now, but they've actually become friends as well. So they did their high jump, both of them, and they managed to clear 2.37 meters high, but they couldn't clear 2.39 centimeters high. So basically, you were at a tie there for the gold medal. So the officials kind of offered them a jump off to see which one was going to win the gold medal to decide the winner. And Mutaz essentially asked if they could both get the gold medal. And they essentially essentially said, yeah, they can. So Sabrina, if you'd be so kind to play that clip, it's
Now
a great
I'll do it.
moment in
Yeah,
sportsmanship.
it is.
Watch this.
Well, this isn't working very
Yeah,
well.
because it's actually the sound is going faster than the video.
Yeah, I don't know why.
So
I was
essentially,
doing that. Sorry, guys.
let's describe it anyway. So essentially, the official says we can continue with the jump off, and Qatar basically says, can we get 2 goals? And he says, yeah, it's possible. And he basically looked at his friend and says, we're making history, my friend. And he shook his hand and he was just jumping to each other's arm. Great, fantastic moment in sportsmanship. And the entire crowd erupted in cheer. So both Qatar and Italy got a gold in men's high jump. And I thought, wow, what a fantastic moment. If you can find the clip, go ahead and look at it. It's a great moment in sports.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
awesome.
Isn't that what you do though? Like, it's
Right?
solid.
Well,
I mean, I get not doing it. Be like, I'm gonna win. I gotta win. But I also like this is just top level.
It is. I mean, you got to remember what this represents for a lot of these people, right? If you any country, whether it's U.S., Canada, something like that, you win the gold medal, you're pretty much done. I mean, you'll get sportsmanship deals, and you'll get you're a celebrity from now on. And all of a sudden, to basically go around and share that with somebody else, or if you're in the middle of a race, you see your opponent's racing in front of you, and he falls, and to pick him up and to help him across the line first. That's an amazing sacrifice, sacrificing all the glory for the love of the sport and just being a good sportsman. And I think that was just a great moment. And I think that's what the games are at their best.
I mean, that's the whole essentially golden rule. Like, treat others the way you want to be treated. If you're the one who falls when you were in first because of something, you would want someone to do the same for you.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's really cool.
Well, going from a great moment in sportsmanship to horrible politics.
Sorry.
Yeah.
After Mango Mussolini lost, there was a push.
Good old Mango Mussolini. I love that. That's it. It's permanent, by the way. Just let you know.
There was a push to say that the conservatives were repressed by social media.
Oh, fuck that.
They're calling it First Amendment violation, blah 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 blah.
They just happen to be really racist.
Yeah. So there was a huge push to use things like new social media platforms like Parler, Frank from what's his face, and there's one I think it's called Getter, which
Getter?
It's spelled Gettr.
Okay.
So I would think it's
Yeah, it's definitely Getter.
and this was launched by Jason Miller. Jason Miller, he's a former Trump spokesman. So these people are putting these social media sites, and they're putting lax moderation. I mean, very, very lax, because they're always pushing free speech, so they can vent all their racism.
Right, exactly. That's it. Yep.
That's exactly it. Yep.
Well, the problem is the extremists will attract other extremists, right? So now this site Getter is actually now inundated by propaganda by supporters of ISIS.
Oh. Yeah.
See,
Oh.
this is why you have to have some regulations, y'all.
Just some.
So now,
Not a lot.
apparently, there's over 250 accounts that are flooding Getter with a whole bunch of beheading propaganda videos, violence towards the West, etc., etc.
Nice.
And of course,
I mean, it's all terrible, but yeah.
It is,
is.
right?
It
But
is.
it's great at the same time.
It's good shit, man. It's good shit.
this is the problem when you don't
This is
have
great.
a greater picture of what's going on.
Right.
When you think the entire world revolves in the U.S. and you think free speech, we want to be able to say that we're better than blacks, or blah blah blah. Yeah, there's an entire world out there outside the U.S. that can take advantage of that, and they just did.
Yo. I mean,
Right.
they
It's
should've
the
known
thing
it.
we've been warning them about.
Well, they should have
Exactly.
fucking, like, 4chan was a thing. 8chan was a thing. We knew how those ended up. They ended up with shootings that were live broadcasted through the websites. So, like, the fact that they're fucking surprised about this is unbelievable.
Well, they're not surprised. This is quite a ploy for them to basically, because they know places like Facebook and Twitter and all that are starting to monitor them, and they're starting to say, no, we're not going to let you post all this bullshit.
Right.
So they have to be able to post their bullshit somewhere.
Right.
So they have to start their own platform, but by doing so, they don't realize that you don't live you don't live like in an isolated bubble. You know, there's an entire world out there that can just jump in with you. Miller apparently basically said that ISIS is attacking MAGA because Trump defeated them in 18 months or so.
Oh.
Any more thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, this is why Trump had his blog. It was a blog so no one else could say anything.
Right.
Yeah. And then they didn't like that.
Yeah.
You know? They're like, well, this is boring. I can't, like, say racial slurs. Like,
Right.
fuck?
I can't just say whatever I feel like might be true because it sounds scary. What?
then nobody showed up, and it got shut down.
Said many
Right.
times on the show, and maybe it is time for us to start revising, having a discussion, grown-up discussion about where we limit our own free speech.
Mm-hmm.
No, because obviously this idea of a free speech and say whatever you want and unregulated, unfeathered, just doesn't work.
No.
It just doesn't work.
Not at all.
And
Right.
although it's the norm in the U.S., there's a lot of countries out there, including Canada, where it's not the norm, and I think it's a better model. You know, I'd be more than happy to debate somebody on that, but anyway, moving on. In science news, they found a lion cub mummy. That's pretty
I saw
cool.
I saw that.
Yeah, that shit
Yes.
was crazy.
In the Siberian Arctic, in such pristine condition that she looks asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Although
She still has whiskers.
yes,
Amazing.
she died
Wow.
28,000 years ago.
28.
Years ago. The claws are still sharp. You can break your finger on the claws, and she's still, like I said, she still has her whiskers. The cub is about 1 or 2 months old. It's unknown how she died, but they think that a mudslide was probably the cause because
And that's what
she was buried
preserved
really.
it?
Yes.
Well,
was
she
very-
froze to death in the ice.
Yeah.
Could
Well,
be.
you know.
No, I'm just kidding.
The sex was determined by CT scan, and now they're working on a DNA sequence. So, of course, Siberia was way different back then than it is now. Today, it seems like a very flat and very open and very empty. But back then, they had mammoth, wolves, bears, woolly rhinos, and saiga antelopes. So-
Woolly rhinos?
That sounds frightening.
That's like a mammoth, but it's a rhino.
Holy shit. That's
Yeah.
badass. Hell yeah.
So it's like me with a horn.
Yes. Exactly.
perfect. I got it.
It's pointing
Got
out.
the visual.
Yeah.
Actually, the funny thing in the side note, they think that some of the early sightings of the woolly rhinos might have been what gave rise to the unicorn legends. Because
Yes.
they had a big horn,
Right.
right? Anyway, we don't know. We'll never know. But anyway, moving on.
Wow.
All right, Sabrina, you got a top 10 for us?
I do.
Fantastic.
So today we will continue our petty list with top 10 petty office pranks.
Ooh,
So number 10 is to make a phantom paperclip.
a phantom paperclip.
Yes. So photocopiers are amazing these days and copies look very realistic. So just take a paperclip, put it on the photocopier, and make a whole bunch of copies. Then take out the blank paper that's in the bottom of the photocopier and put the doctored photocopier, the paper in that's got the paperclip on it, right?
Oh, so
And so every time somebody makes a photocopy, there's going to be a paperclip on it, and they're going to be trying to take the paperclip off.
that's a hard
That's
point.
brilliant.
It's totally harmless. All of these are very harmless.
Well, I mean,
Like, where
not
is the
harmless.
Yeah,
The office manager is going to hate you for wasting paper, but beyond that,
Yeah, true.
If it's really that
Good thing I'm
bad, just buy a block of blank paper.
Bring
It's
your own paper.
Yeah,
Bring
Good
There you
call.
go. Yeah,
$2.
just to be,
It's worth the break.
yeah, absolutely.
Dog lover in your office. What you can do is you can change them over to the dark side.
There's always one of those ladies in the office. She's got like 1,000 pictures of a chihuahua.
Yes.
All over her
So
laptop.
you take that person, and what you do is you change them over to the dark side, and you change their office into a cat lover's dream. So you give them a cat mouse pad, you change their computer wallpaper to cats, change all their photos of the dogs to pictures of cats instead.
Oh,
Give them a few stuffed cats for company. Get them a
Oh,
mug
man.
that says "I love my cat." Yes, yeah, I got one of those, so I do know they exist.
so you'd have to wait till she's out of the office, walk by, take an inventory that
Mhm.
she's got 3 5x7 pictures.
Yep.
And a mouse pad and all that, and go by that, and then
Yep.
wait till she's gone again and just change all that.
Oh yeah, it's a long game.
Oh, yeah.
And this would work for Star Trek and Star Wars people
Oh,
too. I'm just saying,
absolutely.
just throwing
Yeah.
that out there.
But do you just change it all at once, or do you just do one thing at a time?
Ooh.
No,
that's
because one thing at a time
good
she'll
point.
notice. She'll notice one of her
Maybe.
pictures is a cat all of a sudden.
That's
Will she?
well, yeah, exactly.
Okay, I guess
how much do you stop seeing? What's
Depends
there?
how observant your mark and your mark.
Okay.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. So number 8, I do have a food trick. You got to trick your most hated coworkers with a healthy snack. So what you'll do is you'll bring in a box of like Krispy Kreme donuts, but instead of the donuts, when they open it up, there's like veggies and dip instead.
Vegetable tray.
Which I would actually be much happier.
Yeah, I would be more excited about. I am not a fan of donuts. I don't like donuts.
Fucking
Yeah,
hate
I'm not much of a
donuts.
donut fan either.
What's wrong with you people?
So if I opened it because I was just hungry and I saw like vegetable tray, I would be ecstatic. So you're not pranking me with that.
So instead, what I'll do is I'll bring in a vegetable tray, but I'll stuff donuts in instead. Donut.
There we go.
Yes,
There
that's
you
how you
go.
make me sad.
Now I'd be pissed. Yeah.
Not being such a goody two shoe, man. Come on.
I'm throwing the donuts across the office. I'm just angry.
So number 7, you can make your coworkers mouse useless. Just take a piece of paper and tape it over the sensor, right? And so you can watch them go crazy as they're like clicking and moving it around, but it's not moving.
Oh,
But of course, you do get bonus points if you like put your picture on that piece of paper, so that you let
No,
them
no,
know
no.
who that did
It's
it.
it's supposed to be a picture of Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, you can do that too. I did see that one.
that's funny because
That's brilliant.
I've done a really
like that.
similar prank in real life, where actually my dispatch was he was picking his phone, and I waited after he was gone, and I used Scotch tape to tape the receiving button. So when he picked up his phone, there was no tone, and for 20 minutes he's searching what's going on. He can't figure out why the phone's dead. The big wigs from upstairs came downstairs to check the phones. After like half an hour or so, they found the little piece of Scotch tape that it was taped there, and it cost nothing. For 2 weeks after that, he's accusing everybody of trying to kill his
Did you ever
career.
admit to it?
Yes, I went to him one time and I said, John, he says, what's up? I said, I hear you're having problems with your phone. He looks at me and says, you.
You.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's why you were more than willing to do this recorded admission.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, now it's
Now it's out. Cat's out of the bag.
yeah.
It's out of the bag now.
Cat's out of the bag in your coworker's cubicle.
But it's such a simple prank. A piece of Scotch tape,
Yep.
that's all it took.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Number
brilliant.
6 is give your coworkers something new to look at. So take all their family pictures on their desk and
Replace
them with pictures of your family. Or strangers or whatever you want, really. So like if you don't like them, you can like replace the pictures with like spiders or snakes if you know that they don't like them, so that they come in, there's just a bunch of spiders in there.
You know, every time you buy a frame, there's always a picture of a random person in it.
Yeah, you
Keep
can
those.
totally do that.
Just keep those.
Yep.
Just replace their pictures.
How have we not like said that you need to replace it with cartoon porn at this point? Like, come
Totally
on.
could do
Because
that.
it's in the
That's
office,
hilarious.
Brent. We want to keep our jobs.
Oh, okay, fair
There we
enough.
go.
I don't work in an office, and we have
You missed
cartoon porn
out.
all over the place at my job. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what's going on, Brent, to take your turn up one notch.
Yeah, if you could see the other wall from Brent's perspective, it's just all cartoon porn.
I mean, yeah, I gotta keep the camera just right.
Sorry, I
It's
am
the
having
only square
reload
where there's
today.
not.
Well, here's one for Kevin. I know he'll enjoy this one. So number 5 is you turn your coworker's chair into a stink or a noise bomb.
What?
So what you do is you get the chair and you change the settings on the chair so that it just bounces just a little tiny bit when you sit down on it.
You can do that?
And then you tape, well, if it's a heavier person, right? Yeah,
Okay.
So a can of like noise.
An air horn.
An air
Yeah,
horn,
that's a classic
or
one.
like a stink spray.
Stink bomb. Yeah.
And you tape it right under the chair so that
when
when
they sit on
down,
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, that's kind of cruel because you're in the
Just a
same
little.
office, so you're
Yeah.
affected by that too.
yeah, which is why the noise is problematic.
Yeah, you know.
Unless they have an office with a door and they're like prone to shutting their door.
So
Oh,
here's the
that's
thing.
true.
I worked in this office and it was a marketing agency, and there was some point where one of their clients, which is a fast food place, wanted to put smells above their restaurant to attract people. So they had all these little sample packs of like bacon and whatever, and they were vile. So people would prank people with it. And then like everything would stink like this disgusting bacon smell.
we need to add here that adding smells as a publicity or thing like that is actually legal in the U.S. It's not in Canada. So there
Yep.
are some stores that will actually have some smell dispensers that will add some smells to influence the consumer.
Where? Sorry, did you say that was legal in Canada?
Illegal in Canada.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
legal
that
in the U.S. It
Oh,
is
yeah.
legal.
Anything with anything to do with marketing is legal here. If you
Yeah.
if you can kidnap people and drag them into your establishment, that's legal here. No, I'm just kidding. It's not.
Right? As long as you're using it for commerce, we don't care.
So it's getting a little, I'm having a lot more fun with this list. So on number 4, is it your coworker's birthday? You can celebrate by gift wrapping their desk.
Done it.
And by desk, I do mean everything, like individually wrap their monitor, their keyboard, their mouse, their calculator, their stapler, everything. Do their chair, wrap every picture they have. They'll love you forever.
I have been an accomplice to this prank before.
I was gonna say that's just like in the office where he made. But see, the thing is, he made it look like he gift wrapped his like desk and chair, but it turns out it was like not like it was just empty, and he sat down on the chair and fell.
No,
So
Oh no, that's worse.
Prank gift wrapping.
it was like a prank within a prank.
See, those are the things you have to avoid, though, in reality, and that we do not endorse, because that's how people get hurt, and that's how you get sued and or put in jail.
We don't endorse any of this stuff.
I had a friend who was gift wrapped one time. He thought it was as a kid. He thought it was a bicycle. It had the shape of a bicycle and everything. Turned out to be a wristwatch.
Oh,
Okay,
She had
That's
used
brilliant.
rolls and everything
I
to
mean,
make the
that's
frame.
fantastic, but so mean.
so on Amazon, you can buy prank boxes to wrap gifts in. Like one of them is a roto wipe. It looks like it goes in your toilet and just runs a wipe on your butt, but it's just a fake box. Or like one of them is the plant urinal that goes in plants, so you can just pee directly into the plant.
That's
I have
gross.
a friend that their family had a competition to see who could make their gifts the hardest to open.
Oh yes.
Oh, wow.
There have been ones that have been packed in cement,
Oh God!
and you're given like one tool to.
I was gonna say you're gonna have everybody
That's too
showing
much.
up with their
That's
toolboxes.
not
Like,
mud. You're packing
Yeah.
in cement.
One time she packed a gift for a friend of ours. We were at a birthday party, and she told me you have to open it outside. You can't open it in the house. And,
Then I'm not opening it.
Yeah, it ended up like, she's a hunter, right? So she actually wrapped part of it in like bear guts.
Ugh.
what?
And that's why it had to be opened outside. She saved something that I believe it was a bear. And all the gift was like a deck of cards or something. It was some really
Oy.
it was
Oh
hilarious.
my god, that is unsanitary.
She
You have
had it
weird
wrapped
friends.
in like rolls and rolls of plastic. Well, yeah, she's
You
a
have
very
weird
strange
friends,
friend.
yes.
I'm gonna use them bear guts for soup.
Bear gut soup.
So,
Bear guts. Mm.
moving on here, number 3 along that birthday line. If you have an office and not a cubicle, because you really need an office with a door, you have to fill it with balloons.
Oh, that's classic.
I've actually
Oh,
done
yes.
someone. They came back from vacation and their office was full of like 500.
Okay. Let me tell you this. You don't need an office. If you have a cubicle, you can use streamers to build a doorway and then put all the balloons inside.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also have done that too.
Then you
That's
should
a great time, popping them all.
yeah, I was gonna say you should give him a little like a bike helmet that has like all these like little needles all over it, so you can like run through. And just pop, 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 pop.
We didn't know, but they didn't like they just wanted to come back to work and kind of get things organized and start their day after being on vacation. So coming into an office full of balloons, our normally laughing, funny boss was very mad. we were,
I bet.
Right? Like, what have you done?
yeah. So number 2, create an anti-gravity desk.
What?
So, well, most offices have those false ceilings where there's the
Yeah.
right. So, you need some rope and a ladder and a few friends, and you can turn their desk into an anti-gravity desk. You just tie it up from the beams of the ceiling.
I was gonna say my anti-gravity gun's in the shop, but okay.
Yeah. So they come into work and their desk.
Yeah, that requires some planning and a bit more work.
Oh,
And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, quite a
that
bit.
out. Still,
Ooh, that would
And
be
you could
good.
bring the whole ceiling down if you don't do it right.
Yeah, well, that's true too. And number 1, turn your coworker's office into an Andy Warhol-esque piece of art.
Andy
Get your-
Warhol.
Yeah, you know who Andy Warhol is, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So get your
Campbell soup.
picture or
He
your
paints himself
picture,
in the mirror.
print them hundreds of times on different colors of paper, and then just wallpaper their office with just hundreds or thousands of pictures of their boss. I think it's great.
That is brilliant. Yeah.
Very
good.
Okay, but you left out my favorite prank of all. Is if you can get into their computer, what you do
Oh, well,
is you screenshot their background,
Mhm.
then you take all their icons and hide them, and they'll
Yep.
sit there and click on everything and restart. So I used to work at this like very prominent in the South gas station chain, and I figured out how to get into the other computers at other locations, and I did that to them when I worked overnights. And they called me up and like, "Are you having a problem with your computer? What's going on? I click on everything, it doesn't work."
There's another really good one. You can take their background and just replicate the photo like 100 times or whatever, and set it to play on slideshow. But take one of the photos and just change it slightly, or put in a
just like a
photo of
cartoon.
like you with a.
Surprise, surprise.
It streams like it goes so fast that by the time someone comes to see it, it's already passed.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I didn't think about that one. So there you go, a little bonus one for you.
I can tell
Hey,
you,
bonus.
like, people are all evil.
Oh, we are. Yes.
Pure evil.
Mhm.
All right. My dear Benjamin, do you have a things that make you go?
I do. Okay, so
Things that make you go,
So, there was a news report on July 7th of the FBI during a criminal investigation seizing a Lego set, a set of Legos.
What?
Well, cops like Legos too.
Or as the Lego
They do all the
enthusiasts, the Lego enthusiasts, they don't like the word Legos. It's Lego bricks.
Yes, it's Lego bricks. I learned that watching
Lego bricks. Okay, so let's take some guesses here. Why do you think the FBI seized a Lego set?
They were building a replica plutonium chamber.
No.
No.
They left him out on the floor of the sauna, and everybody stepped on him,
Yep, they
and
hurt their
they
feet.
called the FBI.
They were so mad. No,
No.
turns out that there is a Lego set of the Capitol building.
Oh.
Oh,
And
Oh.
so
Blueprint.
one of the alleged riot leaders had this Lego set set up in his house.
Oh.
Oh, so one of the January 6th
Wow.
fuckers.
Yes. And I'm like, what? They seized the whole thing. Like, what they do? Find like a beheaded Mike Pence Lego guy, like beheaded by the spaceman with some sort of lightsaber. Who knows? Like,
there's little gallows outside.
I was gonna say they got the gallows from the pirate set and put that
Right,
out. They're
did-
like, check us out, guys, check us out.
I mean, that's all supposition. I have no idea what they actually was set up, but they did say that it was just the Capitol building, and they have seized it as a result because they believe he used the Lego Capitol building set to plan things.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? I in clear of having any schematics, that's actually not a bad idea.
Right.
Right? Yeah, I mean,
Right? Yeah.
it's
At
functional.
least But the
great
funny
way to
thing is,
plan
he
it.
still managed not to get into the right rooms. So these guys actually went through all the trouble of building the set, and they still couldn't execute their plan correctly.
Couldn't find
Yeah.
my fence.
It reminds
And
me.
they also pulled documents from him that had things like ambush and battle drills and other things. So this guy clearly was on the wrong side of the law here in patriotism, to be honest.
Yeah.
So thank God this was just a riot, right? I mean, thank God this wasn't like an actual insurrection.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But the thing is, like,
One, yeah.
Yeah, we're
This
still
is the-
calling it insurrection, right?
Yeah, of course we are.
Sure, why not?
Attempt
I
to-
I hate that the media's calling it just, it was just a riot. No,
Yeah.
it was much more than a freaking riot.
Right.
It's not a
yeah.
protest either.
No,
no,
at
no.
all.
God,
No.
It was an insurrection. Well, an
But the
attempt
thing is,
insurrection that
this is one of those titles that when you see it, you think it's like an Onion article. Like the FBI has seized a Lego set. So I literally had to search the internet and make sure that I checked it from like 6 reputable sources before I even said anything.
Wow.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's-
it actually happened. This is free.
Like,
Wow.
yeah, this is the thing that actually the FBI is seizing Legos now because they're I don't know if they're bored,
Right? It reminds me of that scene in Con Air. I think it was Con Air, where they're all sitting around the little like thing, the little rock map that they made on the ground, and they're like, okay, you're here, and then you guys move in there, and they're like, okay, but what's that? And he's like, oh, that's a rock, and he like picks it up and starts it.
Right, so like
Lego.
that's what they do. It's the Lego set. They're like, yeah, that's who's this and who's that? Oh, that's just the spaceman left over. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, it's all good.
No, which needs to start queuing on Thursday now. Say, the insurrection was just, big plan from Big Brick.
Right?
Insurrection, and they blamed it with Antifa, and it was all planned. It was all the FBI is in, and the FBI was.
I don't know if this guy knows this, but Antifa plays with Legos too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now you can buy your very own set of Legos. Insurrection.
Insurrection set.
They got little tiny cans of spray paint. It's really
Yeah.
cute. It's cute.
That's great.
Can we make little MAGA hats for the Lego men?
Four little mega heads and little characters there.
I think they do have a MAGA man.
MAGA man. I don't think they do. Not officially.
No, really? Oh,
Someone's made one. Someone's taken one of those hats.
Someone has made one, guaranteed. If you search it on the internet.
yeah.
Guaranteed.
It was on an Etsy thing.
Little cup,
probably,
little cup on the ground like this, and people are beating him with flagpoles.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Wow.
It's so
Blue
real.
Lives Matter.
Oh, that hurt me inside, Kevin.
Yeah.
Hey, you might as well go for real.
Be realistic.
There.
Right? Jesus.
See
That's
Nancy
so
Pelosi
funny.
figure escaping out the back door.
Oh my god.
Oh wow, that's
That is definitely something that makes you go.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
At first, I really thought you were going to say that the FBI found a Lego gun that actually worked as a real gun. That's what I thought you were going to
Oh,
say.
I actually was
Yeah.
my mind a little bit. I bet you they exist too.
I mean, if you can make the innards actually like out of metal, something like that, and just cover the rest of the gun as a Lego,
It would kind of come. Well, maybe. Yeah.
or maybe
Well, they
Lego
have that fully functional Lego Lamborghini that's like an electric vehicle. Like it drives. It's like full size. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
What?
It's on Lego Masters.
Yeah, watch Lego Masters, that show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Okay.
So
So
do
what
you have?
they could do with Lego is absolutely what?
So
it's an impressive show.
You have to do like little racing cars. You have to pull them back and let them go. So you have to push back the Lamborghini and then with a rubber band.
There you go. It's got a giant rubber band in it.
Crank it up. Yeah. It's like chitty chitty bang bang.
Yeah. Guys are amazing.
Oh, thank you so much for that.
Brilliant.
Man. Oh, Brett Lee, do you have another brilliant moment for us?
I do. Oh man, and this I have to say this another brilliant moment brought to you by religion was quite well, it was disappointing and satisfying sort of at the same time.
More clips.
Yeah, yeah. We got I think we have a clip that we're gonna
Yeah,
play. You got
My clip is loaded here.
all right. So just wait on that for a second.
Yeah, you let me know.
Let me. Okay, cool. I'll give you the signal in a bit here.
Yeah.
So creationist Kent Hovind has been arrested on charge of domestic violence And by that we mean he body slammed his ex-girlfriend.
What?
Ooh, what's his address again?
Which,
Let's go visit.
Wait, when did this happen?
let's see. Is it just recently? It was like it was a couple days ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, Ken Hovind doesn't look like he can lift anything.
I know that's what I don't know what she means by body. I don't think she means like the Hulk Hogan,
Yeah.
above the head. I think she means like
Yeah.
boom, like just
Yeah, I
slammed
would
her
assume
down.
he full force ran at her and knocked her to the ground on top of her. Is
There
what I
you
would
go.
assume a body slam would be for most average people, not WWE wrestlers.
Yeah, I don't think they're using the official
Ken
term
Hovind
there.
from the third
Be
row.
like pile driver. Woo-ah! Like,
That's
Oh my
right, my
God.
friend. Up pile
She took
driver.
a steel chair to the skull. Somebody stop the match.
Well, we all know the WWE wouldn't exist without the announcers, so good job.
The announcers are a part of the wrestling thing.
Right, but a little bit of background on Kent Hovind. If you want to share the screen, you can. He was born.
Here we go.
So he was born January 15th, 1953. He is an American Christian fundamentalist, evangelist, and tax protester. He is a controversial figure in the young Earth creationist movement whose ministry focuses on denial of scientific theories in the fields of biology, most specifically evolution, but also geophysics and cosmology, in favor of a literalist interpretation of the Genesis creation narrative found in the Bible. Hovind's views, which combine elements of creation science and conspiracy theory, are dismissed by the scientific community as fringe theory and pseudo scholarship. He is controversial within the young Earth creationist movement, and Answers in Genesis openly criticized him for continued use of discredited arguments abandoned by others in the movement. So he's
not even
liked-
on the right side of the movement.
He's not even liked by his own.
They're like, yeah, no, we don't want you.
And he's been to prison before, right? He's been to prison.
Yeah.
For
Okay, so that's what I was about to get to here. He actually has had problems with the law before. Let me see here. Where is it? My God, he's
Legal
had
problems.
so
You're
many.
there,
Stop,
Where is
go
it?
away. There we go.
right there.
Oh, legal problem. There we go. On August 15th, 2002, Hovind was arrested for assault, battery, and burglary. What? And burglary in an incident with CSE. That's his. It's the Creation Science Evangelism is what it's called. The charges were dropped in December. On September 13th, 2002, Hovind was charged with failure to observe county zoning regulations for Dinosaur Adventureland, which is his, his batshit Bible. Like, I don't even know what the fuck.
So he's a model citizen, we can tell.
Yeah,
Right? He's totally a model citizen.
definitely.
Yeah. In April of 2006, the Dinosaur Adventureland buildings were closed by county officials, and the Florida Circuit Court found the owners in contempt, ordering fines of $500 for each day the buildings were used.
Well, damn it, Brent. What are you going to do in Florida now that it's closed?
I know, we're lost. We have no more amusement parks down here. It's crazy. That was the only one. Hovind argued he did not need a permit due to the nature of the building. Whatever that. I don't know what that means.
It was
The
a
nature
God
of the building.
God. Yeah.
God doesn't need permits. It was a God building.
Probably. He figured that since churches don't have to pay taxes, they don't need permits also.
Right.
Exactly.
But after a 5-year court battle over the $50 building permit, $50 building
5
permit.
years over $50.
Yeah, you know how much that
Jesus
cost him in lawyer fees over 5 years?
Yeah.
Right? I can only imagine.
Small
It's
But-
the principle, Benjamin.
Yeah.
The principle of it.
Of course it is.
Yeah, he pleaded no contendants, like he didn't contend the charges after that. He also didn't pay his taxes, and that's where he got popped in 2006. Ended up spending 10 years in prison for that, and during that time, he gave ownership to his the Bible Land, whatever amusement park. He gave that over to his son, right? And so now he's back out, but now his son's like fighting with him over that. So now they basically kicked him out, so he doesn't have access to any.
So prison is where he learned to body slam people.
Exactly, and that's why.
Oh, that's probably true. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So this guy's been around. And see, the funny thing about this and why I picked this specifically was because I watched these videos when I was growing up. I remember seeing his conferences. He did different conferences. We were required to watch them for science, which is just because we really need to be taught that evolution is a religion, y'all. Mm-hmm. It's a religion, okay? And so, so we do have a clip here. Let me we'll go ahead and pull that up real quick.
Here, I'll pull that up.
Quite funny.
Hopefully this works on mine.
Well, at least the Earth isn't flat in this.
Is he playing green sleeves?
I know, right?
Right. It's an honor to be here in Southern California.
It's because he could afford it. It's free.
Yeah.
Seminars before, or seen a videotape.
He's still around.
really
I can't
quiet.
believe it's still.
Okay, and how many do not understand the question so far?
Oh, you guy.
My name's Kent Hovind. I taught high school science for 15 years. And now I travel and do seminars on...
Where did he teach high school?
Dinosaurs.
I know that. Probably
People
Christian
know what I
school.
believe before I get started. I believe the Bible is the infallible, inspired, inerrant word of the living God. I believe it from cover to cover. Amen.
These people are excited to be here.
Yeah, roarous
And I
applause.
believe the evolution theory that's being taught in our schools is one of the dumbest and most dangerous religions in the history of humanity.
It's a religion. Define religion.
It's real dumb because I disagree with it.
Yeah.
Nice things to say about it. Okay. So, one of my jobs as a Christian, and your job if you're a Christian, is to be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh the reason of the hope that's in it.
Yes.
And I think in the last 200 years,
Most Christians don't
have
do
done a
that.
good job of answering the skeptics. And we've allowed them to take over our school system and our legal process, and our whole thinking process is now based on this theory called evolution. Folks, there's a war going on, and there are three things I try to accomplish in my seminar. Number one, I want to strengthen your faith in the Word of God. Number two, if you're not saved, I'm going to try to get you converted tonight. Okay?
Tonight.
I told you right up front, I'm after you, right? Number three, if you're saved and you're not doing much for the Lord, then I'm going to try to make you uncomfortable. Fair enough.
Uncomfortable just watching this.
I need to warn you, just about every sin in the book is mentioned in my seminar series. It's likely that everybody's toes will be stepped on at least once. We recommend steel-toed shoes or a willingness to move your feet.
Yeesh.
Maybe one or the other. Okay, this is not my wife. That's just a picture of her.
Okay, this is my favorite joke right there. I
That
like
was
that one.
actually a decent joke. I actually kind of like that one, misdirect.
Been there for 15 years. I have 3
Pensacola, Brent.
Oh, poor Brent. Just down the street.
Fucking ass.
My kids are 4, 25, and 26. A year and 2
Wait,
months
wait,
apart.
so-
It's called family planning where I come from.
Oof.
And my daughter Marlissa is here tonight. Where'd she go? Marlissa? She's out there somewhere.
She's not willing to admit
Never do this. Never do this.
Anyway, I got
when
them all
you're
married off,
public
brother,
speaking.
and the dog died, so I made it. I'm home free. It's wonderful. And all 6 of them work for me in my ministry, and now I've got 2 grandkids, and hopefully 1,000 more coming. Grandkids are God's reward for not...
1,000 more coming?
Thought about
Jesus Christ, I better get busy.
Right?
Oh, Brent, Kevin, you talked over the joke.
Okay, so the last joke he said.
Wait.
I
Here
can
we
go back.
Oh,
Here we
okay.
go. Oh, we start
Just-
from here?
Yeah, because you have to hear it because it did not age well.
Okay.
No, it didn't go back.
Not back far enough.
it.
Okay, wait. Pause. Go to there.
There we go.
1,000 more coming. Grandkids are God's reward for not killing your own kids when you thought about it.
Oh!
Oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. Oh.
No.
But
Well,
that
that
did not
definitely
age
was
well.
another brilliant moment. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured that would be good. Because people need a little bit of background. We don't really ever get to see. I mean, you hear a lot of the quotes and you bring people up and show them who they are and everything. But that's it. You know what I mean? Like, so I really wanted that because I remember seeing that guy, and that was my schooling for science.
But here's the deal. He had 3 kids, and he said he had one of each. So is one of his kids an NB? I doubt it, but he's boy, girl, NB, right? One of
Yep.
each?
Yep, one of each.
Yeah, right.
I mean, not that there aren't more than that, but you know what I mean.
It's amazing. It's amazing a guy with his past and his fights with the law and all that to this day people still revere this man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's just, and if you want a good beating for Ken Hovind, just look what Arn Raw and him did together, and
oh yeah,
or just destroyed.
Oh wow,
he just battered him. Another thing though, real quick, that I just want to add: not only did he body slam his ex-girlfriend, he sent thugs to her place to keep her quiet about it and wrecked her apartment. And told her.
So this is like the first one where the secretary dropped the charges. That's probably what happened then too.
Yeah.
Be surprised.
Wow.
God's emissary, right?
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
Kidding.
Model citizen, folks.
Model citizen, God's
Yes.
emissary.
Jesus.
Well,
This is how they roll.
If the evangelical can think Trump is the God's chosen one, Hovind can't be that far behind. Let's face it here.
That's true. I mean, look who we're dealing with here.
Exactly.
And I think this is also the reason why evangelicals will never again have credibility.
Mm-hmm.
They've just proven that they are not moral in any way, shape, or form.
Not even.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Brian. Much appreciated.
You bet.
Let's take a quick pause, and when we come back, we'll be with John Richards of Atheism UK. So stay with us.
Fun.
All right, well, our next guest is all the way on the other side of the pond. He is the now president of Atheism UK. He's a snappy dresser and snazzy dancer. John Richards, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, wait a minute. I got to do the applause here.
Your applause.
Where's my applause?
Uh-oh.
I can just clap for you.
Yeah, we can.
We can do it.
Woo! Cheers! Someone make a whistle.
Thank you for credibility.
There we go. There's an applause.
Oh, okay. We got to start.
Live audience.
Thanks, audience. They took a second to get here, but they showed up.
That's great.
You don't have the same audience we used to.
It's where atheists gather. This is LATV.
So thank you so much for joining us all the way from across where you guys are probably ahead of schedule and ahead of time, because you can tell us what's going to happen. You're actually forward in time, aren't you?
You're so behind the times, you guys.
Yeah, we are.
Oh wow!
For those of us who may not know, might not be familiar with who John Richards is, maybe you'd be so kind to give us a quick bio as to who John Richards is.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm a retired science teacher who can't stop.
There we go.
It's been my mission to explain to people how things work, and I don't see any reason why I shouldn't continue to do that. I mean, the alternative when you retire is to learn how to wear a pair of slippers, smoke a pipe, and watch daytime TV. That's got no attraction.
Sounds like a wall.
It's got no attraction for me, because I always want to be doing something, and the new technology, what we're using today, enables that to happen. So I've been continuing what I consider to be my mission that I've had pretty much all my life. And of course, the side effect of this is that people start to question their beliefs. It's nothing to do with me, No.
It's true that education and science will make you question a lot of things. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So tell us about Atheism UK, because you know what, the show is obviously focused much more in North America. We have a Canadian American collaboration. Our audience is mostly Canadian American, but we do have some listeners internationally here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of interesting. I always wondered, what it's like to be an atheist on the other side, in Europe, in the UK and all that. So maybe you'd be so kind to explain that to us.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's very easy because the population of the UK in the most recent poll came out as 51% non-believers.
Whoa.
Oh, very similar to here.
Yeah. The US just came the same way, didn't it, Ben?
Yeah, it was similar because it's a little more split than that, but it's we're getting up there. Like the numbers are increasing.
Yeah. I don't know if it's 51% yet. I think it's 50.
I think it's for the first
But it also, you're talking about the whole of the United States. It depends on where you're at in the United States, because down here in the South, I don't tell anyone at work I'm an atheist because I could possibly lose my job.
Yes.
If you're in Texas, you would lose your job. You absolutely would.
Why? What? Wow.
I mean, when my job sends an email to celebrate National Prayer Day.
Wow, I work with Christians. They wouldn't do that.
I mean, they're not saying anything about the job, and this has nothing to do with that job, but like just in the South, not even me particular, but people, it's happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
And you would be denied service at Chick-fil-A, wouldn't you?
I doubt it.
Yeah, they'll take your money.
They'd only give you one Chick-fil-A sauce, like some kind of asshole.
I mean, if you drive down here in the South and you drive by a Chick-fil-A, guaranteed there's at least 4 cars in the drive-thru.
Wow.
Constantly.
They don't have those here.
No, we don't have. So John, in the UK, I mean, this is interesting because if I'm correct, the US has a secular constitution. The UK does not. I mean, they do have the Anglican Church, which is quite predominant in the UK.
Yes-ish. It's a legacy. It's a historical legacy from the days of Henry VIII, who, of course, wanted to divorce his wife more than once, and the Pope at the time wouldn't let him. So what did he do? He set himself up as our local Pope. And since then, we've had an established church. But in practice, it's a dinosaur. It's more than a dinosaur. It's a dodo. The church-going population is dwindling so desperately that the interesting story, the Archbishop of Canterbury is on holiday. while he's away, the Archbishop of York is in charge. And he's come up with this scheme to deregister all the parishes and the clergy that serve them, the vicars and other clergy, and give the job of gathering together a community, a congregation, to specially selected evangelical types in their own homes.
What?
I know. It's been described as by a Christian who writes in the Church Times as the church throwing off its buildings and its staff and running naked into a world that couldn't care less.
The least popular streaking in the world.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. Not only that, but they've been trying to take over our schools because they realise that since the few remaining regular churchgoers are soon to be not for this world, they've got to start indoctrinating children more heavily than they have before.
Right.
And unfortunately, you know how democracy is a sort of a blunt weapon, a blunt tool?
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
We've had a series of governments that are not representative and that have been supporting the church in their ambition to set up faith schools.
Wow.
When I was a boy, we had a lot of schools that were called C of E schools, Church of England schools. But it was, as I said, it was a very tepid sort of religion. And nobody minded. Nobody minded because it wasn't trying to indoctrinate anybody with anything. And if it did, it didn't succeed. Everybody more or less laughed at it. And I don't know if you've seen much British television, but there's been a succession of satirical representations of vicars and bishops and things. It's worth catching some British comedy.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Love British comedy.
The best. It's so good.
But recently, although these were churches in name or church schools in name, they were secular schools in practice.
Okay.
And but recently, the government has permitted faith schools to be properly faith schools by enabling them to select entry to those who belong to their particular faith. Initially, they could only select, I think it was 30% of the intake, but more recently, the rule has changed, and they can now select 100% of the intake.
Goodness.
Now, what this means in practice is that because of the localities that schools serve, very often there's no option available other than a faith school to send your children to.
Yes.
And most pertinently, one of the key people, I think what is she described as? She might be the president actually at the moment, but Alice Roberts, who is quite a television personality. She does a lot of presentation on anatomy and archaeology and other scientific things. She lives in London, and she's, as I said, she's a president of Humanism UK. She can't send her child to a secular school. There's not one near enough.
That's interesting.
Wow.
That's
God.
Now, in the UK, I mean, let's make a comparison here. In Canada, for example, I know that some, depending on province, from province to province, it's different. But here in BC, it's 50% of the funding for religious schools actually comes from the government. In Alberta, for example, it's 100. In the States, I'm assuming it's 0. Ben, Bradley, can you guys confirm that?
No,
I can't confirm.
No, they redid a whole thing with voucher systems because of that white
Betsy DeVos.
Betsy DeVos, thank you. Okay. Yeah, she did a voucher program where basically they subsidize schools that you have to pay for to get into anyway.
There are still schools here where the government is paying part of what's going on with them, even if they're full-on religious schools.
Yeah.
So
general in BC.
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
These are subsidized schools. These are schools that are paid for by taxes. Yes. Of course, you've always been able to set up a private school to whatever flavor you like, as long as you pass Ofsted, the Office of Standards for Education inspection, which is you have to get your Queen's what's the word? No, you have to get I can't remember the word, but you have to be on a register that's approved by Her Majesty's inspectors. That's another interesting thing, because in some parts of London, where there's a Jewish community, they've discovered recently sort of underground Jewish schools that have been being held in big houses, and the children have been dragooned to go there and have been kept for very long periods of the day so that their parents can go out to work. And they haven't been following the approved syllabus. They've been teaching all sorts of things, like you were saying with Kent Hovind and his creationism.
Oh, right.
Right.
So we've discovered these now, and we're trying to shut them down.
Oh, good.
That was my next question, because we were talking about Kent Hovind. Creationism, I always get the impression creationism was mainly a U.S. phenomenon that's kind of trying to be exported in other countries. Has creationism in its present form made its way into the UK? Is it a threat?
Yes, it has. I regret having to say this, but just up the road from here is a sort of a branch of Answers in Genesis.
Oh, cool.
What?
And a few years ago, I debated a couple of their representatives. They're I don't know whether to call them pastors, but clergy that have affiliated with Answers in Genesis.
Jesus.
You can see those debates. They're on video.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, we'll have to put some of those in the show notes.
Yes, definitely.
So I guess my question is, the Queen being the head of the church, and the church, seems losing its. Yeah, she's the head of the church. She's a
woman is in charge. we'll give them that.
That's right.
Direct descendant of Mary. You know.
Real.
We know the Anglican Church was powerful politically in the UK. What's the status of the church now as its influence into politics?
Unfortunately, we still have quite a lot of church influence at the top. Because, for example, in the House of Lords, which is our Senate, although the actual powers are different, but it's our Senate, and the church has 22 guaranteed seats for their bishops.
Wow.
Goodness.
Holy
We don't
shit.
want it.
Guaranteed seats.
Wow.
Yes.
So these people are not even elected; they're just appointed.
No. Yes.
That would make corruption so easy. Like, it seems like-
Fortunately, the House of Lords doesn't have a great deal of power.
Okay.
All they can do is inspect and modify the bills that are passed up to them, pass them back down, and it's the House of Commons that has the power.
Oh,
it's-
okay.
The House of Lords is the House of Sober Second Look, is what they call it, right?
Yeah, it's the House of what would you call it? Checking and I don't know, approving.
Rubber stamping.
Basically, lords being lords, right?
Well, yes, that's a bit of a misnomer now, because although they used to be lords, dubbed by the Queen or inherited a title from ancestors, now I don't know how many of them it is. It might be approaching 50% of them have been appointed for life. So they're life peers, and they were appointed by previous or current prime ministers.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
So I'm assuming in the House of Lords, a conservative prime minister will appoint conservative lords.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
So it's a bit like the Senate here in Canada.
Yeah.
The Senate in the U.S. doesn't work the same way.
No, there's
No.
They're voted in.
Yeah.
Our Supreme Court has lifetime appointments.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
Wow.
That's a clearer picture. And when it comes to the general population, you said earlier during the show that 51% now are non-believers or are part of the nuns. But what's the general tone of the population? Is it something that's on the forefront of the public's mind, the effect of religion in their policies in their everyday life, or is something that's basically ignored like everywhere else?
Apathy.
Yeah.
Just the prevailing emotion, I think. But although you said, and it's true, that 51% polled as non-believers, that's an underestimate, because if you do it by another test, rather than just asking them to tick a box, or check a box, you would say, wouldn't you? Rather than just asking them to do that, if you ask them other questions like, are you a regular churchgoer? Do you make donations to a church charity? Do you pray regularly? If you ask them questions like that, then you find that it's probably something more approaching 80% who are not actively religious.
Right.
But of course, since the 1950s, the makeup of the population, the demographic of the UK has changed enormously. Whereas we used to be pretty pure white Anglo-Saxons and Anglican Christians, now we have significant populations. We always had a few little hotspots of Jews, but we've now got mosque-building Muslims, we've got Hindu temples, because of course the outcome of the closing down of the colonies and turning them into Commonwealth resulted in giving a lot of them permission to come and live in the motherland, which is fine. I'm very much in favor of a multicultural population, but the thing is, they do tend to bring their religion with them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, like you were saying, it depends where you go. I'm sure you could go to areas in the city of Bolton, for example, where you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody who's not a Muslim.
Interesting. It kind of reminds me of Canadian comedian Russell Peters.
I love him.
who's Indian, and he said, when all of a sudden the British decided to leave, he said, wait a minute, you can't just leave. We're coming with you now. It's like- we hear a lot here of interesting stories, especially from conservative politicians about minorities in the UK. You hear about no-go zones and stuff like that. Is there any truth to any of that? Is there really places in the UK where it's dangerous to just be,
No. That's typical. I'm assuming that you're talking about Republican politicians.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's typical Republican propaganda.
Okay.
Yep, it's not true.
So there is
I mean, there's
that all of a sudden you're going to be attacked by roving bands of Muslims in the UK or something.
No. I was looking.
Yes.
I was looking at the crime figures earlier today because I was in a disagreement with somebody in one of my Facebook groups, an American who's joined one of our Facebook groups, and the subject turned to gun ownership and police and so on.
Of course.
And yes, indeed, because he's very right wing, and so I threw him some figures, and he was saying that in 2020 the US lost something like 200 police killed on duty. So I checked it out. 146 of them died from COVID.
Oh shit! It was on duty though. They were on duty.
So I mean, it does count. It does count because how the families get paid out, because he got COVID on duty, so he died of COVID on duty, so he gets paid out differently because of
Well,
that.
that's the thing. He saw the virus approaching, he started shooting at it, and it bullets were for the virus. And oh my god!
The virus totally dodged all the bullets.
Well, and I've said it before, where
Matrix
if you
style.
watch international TV, you watch a American cop show, and it's very different than, say, a cop show in New Zealand or a cop show in UK.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like in the UK, you have one officer who's trained to use a gun, and that's it.
Yes. Well, let me just finish this little anecdote because I then looked up the British stats. And do you know how many cops we lose on the job? It's an average of 1 a year.
Goodness.
Holy shit! For the whole
Were they
country?
from COVID too?
Yes.
No, the whole country. And
Oh my god!
most of them, they're not shot because we don't have that many guns. Guns are pretty much illegal here. They're not shot. Most of them die by accident. They fall off a roof or their car runs into something.
Yeah, like an automobile
ask.
accident. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to ask if they were all pushed out windows. Because that's Archie Bunker's thing.
No. It's that one police officer you think he can do parkour, and he's running off the rooftop, and he just jumps, but
Jumps
doesn't quite
and
make it.
misses.
He's chasing a parkour criminal. Yes.
Right. Parkour criminals.
Oh, that needs to be a show right there.
Well,
Right.
Hardcore criminals.
Well,
I'm just
technically,
saying.
there's even more death in the James Bond movie than there actually in the UK for real.
Yep.
Yeah. But you're right. If you watch an American cop show, it's all shooting. Every
Yeah.
few minutes you hear guns going off. If you watch a British cop show, we had one. What was it called? It was set on the Channel Islands, and it was a lovely historical sort of cuddly sort of show. And he drove an antique car,
Right.
Right.
Nice.
Very.
They're having tea with the criminal. Now you think so? You should not do this.
It's all club
You know-
fights. It's
you know-
club
you know-
fights.
This is even reflected in the language because when computers were invented, they were mostly taken up in the US, in California. That was where most of the gestation of the technology we're using tonight happened. So the language is all aggressive. I mean, you boot it into action.
Yes.
You get kicked off a show.
Yeah.
And then you grab something?
Yep.
Or you think of all the language that you use that's associated with computers. And
The
it's
screen capture.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, if we had carried on in this country, because we started with some computers, primitive ones, even before you did, but if we carried on, we would have had things like, you switch it on, you turn it up.
Yeah. not reboot, it's restart.
The language would be entirely different.
Yeah, I totally agree.
No, it's true. As an international observer, when you look at American shows, even shows that are scientific shows, remember the old MythBuster show?
Yeah, I love
I
it.
used to love that show, but they always had to end with an explosion.
Oh,
and that was
every
why? Why do you need to always blow up something?
Because
Blowing up
explosions
stuff is fun.
equal freedom.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
but you-
die on this hill. Explosions are fun, and I want to see them every day of my life.
The myth was, can this car go faster on? I don't know if you put the tailgate down for the pickup truck. Is it more economical to have it up or down? They busted the myth, and then they finished by blowing up the pickup truck.
Well, of course they do.
It
Because
doesn't.
no one's gonna watch the hatch of a pickup truck, and they're not gonna watch that unless the truck explodes at the end. Okay, I'm just
Okay, but my favorite is the difference between reality competition shows in the U.S. versus the U.K. Because in the U.S. they're competing for all this money and people stab each other in the back and there's all this drama. Meanwhile, I'm watching this British pottery show where they're like, "Oh, let me help you out with that. We've got this." And if you see that, it's on HBO Max, and the show is fantastic, by the way.
unless it's Gordon Ramsay. He was like, "Are you a fucking idiot sandwich?" Yes, you are. Yes.
It's not just the competition shows like the baking shows, but it's also the quiz shows. I mean, if you watch some of our quiz shows, they are graduate standard, and there's very little to win. You know, there's no thousands of dollars of prizes.
Yes.
This glass bowl.
They're doing it for bragging rights. They're like, "I am the winner." Yeah.
Although I do watch a competition show on MTV where they're bringing in a lot of UK contestants, and man, you guys are good at backstabbing when you need to.
Wait, Sabrina, you watch the challenge too?
Shh, maybe. Yes.
Fantastic.
Isn't it great?
So much drama.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to get the impression that I'm anti-American in any way.
Oh no, we're okay with that.
Yeah, me too. No, I am.
I've got a lot of friends in America, and I've been all over the place in America, and I love you guys.
We love you too.
Yeah, but you love us like you love that wild cousin who's drunk at barbecues.
Well, yeah. Great fun.
Barbecues? What's that?
So you get a grill and you get some meat.
America's great for a visit, but I wouldn't want to stay. You know.
No, yeah, definitely.
How do you stop the rain putting the fire out?
It doesn't rain there.
More gasoline. You just keep the lighter fluid. You got to just
Just squirt.
just keep squirting.
If the flame isn't 3 to 4 feet tall, you fucked
You're
up.
not doing it right.
You're You guys are awesome.
So, John, when you look at atheism in the UK as compared to the rest of the world, you think your country is moving more towards secularism, or is there like in the US a bit of a resurgence of faith coming back and trying to, I don't know, do a scorched earth technique? You know, that's what seems to be happening in the US anyway.
They're trying to fight back.
They know they're diminishing, and they're fighting back really, really hard. Is that the case in the UK as well?
Yeah. This is what I was saying about the Archbishop of York, who's trying to reorganize the whole of the Church of England so that people get to meet. Because the Archbishop of Canterbury is the most evangelical Archbishop we've ever had. So, whereas our previous Archbishops were quite content to swan around having tea with the Queen sometimes and not do very much, except maybe come on the radio and pontificate a bit. This one is a missionary. He wants to convert people, especially children. So whereas we've been through pretty much all of last century in a nosedive, religion's been going down. Is that the right way for a graph on your screen? No, it's that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now,
left to right.
Now they've reached the point of no return, and they've decided they've got to do something about it. And meanwhile, the immigrant communities are building up, so they're seeing each other as a threat now. Which is why we need Atheism UK. we probably didn't need Atheism UK until 2000, and Atheism UK was started in I think 2008, when the need became apparent.
So what does
I was just
Atheism
gonna ask
UK
that
do?
question.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's you guys are much more than just a group of atheists getting together and having coffee, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
We are, yes, indeed.
Sorry.
In fact, it's a good question.
Yeah.
It's a good question. What do we do? And we're having a council meeting next month to decide that very thing. because we haven't, to be honest, we haven't been as actively campaigning as we should do. And there are issues in this country that do need combating. And I mentioned the bishops in the House of Lords.
Yes.
We have a BBC that gives privileges to Church of England and other theists to have airtime. We don't want that. And we have these terrible faith schools that are on the rise. We want to solve that. Let's get back to schools that are secular, especially if we're paying for them. You know, it's my money.
Absolutely.
Right. I have a question real quick. Are you familiar at all, like, with what was going on in France as far as enforced secularism?
Yes. The French are much more authoritarian than we are.
Yeah.
We're a nation of, or historically, we've been a nation of not quite diplomats, but sort of bordering in that direction. Somebody who wants to come to a compromise solution.
Right.
Whereas the French say, you know, that their police carry guns, for example, and they say, these are the rules, you should obey them. The difference being that in this country, if there's a rule, people do obey it because there's very little enforcement. So you'll find we're religious, if I can use that word, about stopping for red lights. The other day, I was carrying a friend of mine who's from Turkey, where the driving is not quite so decorous, and we saw somebody shoot a red light in this country, and he said that's the first one I've ever seen here. And he's been living here now for what, I don't know, well, his daughter's 6, so it must have been 7 years. So where was I going with this?
I have to check, even if it's a green light. I'm checking.
Yeah.
Somebody's coming because you don't know here, man.
Well, that's right.
Sometimes people are like, "Fuck it, I don't care." Just
I stopped for green lights just to make sure.
Yeah.
In France, you've got this much more authoritarian government that issues edicts, and they are, I mean, you can understand why they do this, and I'm sympathetic towards it because they've got Muslims and right-wing, almost Nazis and communists in their political movements, and they want to keep them small, I suppose. So they've issued instructions about not having to wear hijabs and burqas and things, and of course it's illegal to teach a religion in a French school, in a French state school. There is no religion taught. So yes, that's the difference.
Well, I mean, I know the French have been hardcore about not letting other languages invade their language too.
Yeah, as the French Canadian on the board, I could say that, and it's actually perpetuated in Quebec as well. They're very protective of their language and their culture in that sense. I get the impression when you go to France that they'll basically say they're authoritarian, but in a way of like, oh, come on, this is France. This is how we do things. Just do it.
Yes,
don't question it. Just freaking do it.
Just be French.
Just be naked. Just a naked beach. Just be naked.
But they're enforcing things like you can't wear a hijab in public, and you can't even have a cross around your neck, or if you're a Christian, things like you. It's really weird to have enforced secularism without religious freedom. You know what I mean? I feel like that is an odd.
Right, they went the complete opposite way.
Yeah, and it just seems so strange to me. To where it's like, and I think that a lot of Christians and other religious folks see see what's happening. Like, that's what's going to happen. Oh man, it's coming.
We're being prosecuted just like we always were.
Yeah, it's like
I love their Académie Française that determines what should be a correct French word and what shouldn't, because they've been fighting a losing battle for decades.
Yeah,
because they simply don't have a lot of words that were originated in the English-speaking world. So they've got to adopt them and just pronounce them slightly different. So, for example, if you go to certain towns in France, you can go to a restaurant that's called Le Lunch.
Le Lunch. Oh wow! It's clever.
And it really urines them off that they've got to admit that English is the lingua franca.
Yeah, I mean it is, and English is a very good language also for business, because I always saw English as a very basic language.
Yeah.
So it makes
universal.
it makes it much more easily universal. French is much more complex as a language.
The reason that English is such a good language is because we had this collision between the French invading from the south and the Danes invading from the north, and we couldn't cope, so we said, scrap all this. We don't want declensions. We don't want conjugations. We don't want genders. It's nonsense. We've ended up with perfect language.
I also think one of the
I'm not sure that would be my argument, but yeah.
Well, you Americans, you don't speak the real English.
Once you have one word meaning 17 different things, I'm starting to,
I'm fitting to learn you how to speak some real English here.
I think one of the problems that France also had is their immigration standards. They're good and all that, but what they've done is they've kind of created ghettos. So they've put the Muslim population in one little area instead of doing a proper integration within the population. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And right now they're reaping the benefits. Fruit. The bad fruit that they've cultivated, essentially.
They're reaping the storm.
Yeah, not even religiously, but if you look at communities, and if you even have blended socioeconomic statuses, it's actually beneficial for everyone.
Yes, yes, and France didn't do that, unfortunately, and right now they're kind of feeling the pain of that.
Yes,
unfortunately. So, I'm assuming in the UK, when it comes to immigration, the population are much more integrated.
Well, we are, except in a few pockets where it's not a no-go area. It's still safe. I mean, for example, I was invited to go and debate a Muslim at Manchester University back just before lockdown. And this was staged by the Islamic Research and Education Association. And there's a very good video of this debate. I debated, what was his name? Imran Hussain, a lecturer from that locality. And they took this excellent video and had cameras everywhere. I had 2 microphone transmitters on me. Mm-hmm. So they made this fabulous video. But there's a fear amongst some members of the population that if you could find yourself alone at the wrong time of day in a mostly Muslim area, that it's a risky thing to do. And so when they drove me to my hotel, there was 4 of us, the driver and me, and 2 young student Muslims in the back. And one of them said to me, "What was the best thing about the event for you?" And I said, "Not getting macheted."
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You give me a group of Muslims and a group of evangelicals, I'm going to feel safer around the Muslims, honestly.
Me too.
We're in America, so I don't.
Bangladesh, I'm not sure you'd say that.
That's true.
They'd known me long enough to realise that I was joking. They worked out how I, my oeuvre, to use a French word. And so we didn't fall out over that. But, considering that there are occasions in this country when Muslim terrorists blow themselves up, or one last year got out of jail and he'd sworn that he was going to do more harm to these non-believers the moment he got out. And so he was followed by the police. So he had surveillance officers in plain clothes. And when he was seen looking at knives, they applied for permission to carry a gun, got that. And they still followed him. He had a tag on, but he went into a shop and he bought a knife with a 8-inch blade, 20 centimeters in this country.
What? Yeah, I'm confused.
You lost me.
He went outside, this is in Streatham, South London. He went outside and stabbed 2 people, then the police shot him. It took 62 seconds from purchase of the knife to his death.
Wow.
But
Shit.
that was brilliant police work in my view. But
Yeah.
his inquest is now undergoing because, of course, when you have a police shoot a member of the public, it has to be justified. And so that's being heard in London at the moment. His inquest is going to take about 3 weeks, but of course we know what the outcome will be.
Yeah,
Justified.
yeah, and unfortunately,
Well, yeah.
we also know that the conservative movement is going to take that incident to justify ramping up the degree of fear of
Yes.
the Muslim
Yes.
community.
Absolutely, they will.
Although this individual is obviously an outlier,
Mhm.
But-
Unfortunately, the current trend of politicians all over the world, you can look at examples in Brazil, Mexico, a recent example in the US, our current prime minister, everywhere in the world. What you have now is a generation of politicians who are not primarily concerned for doing good for their country.
Mhm.
They're primarily concerned for staying in power themselves.
Yes.
Right.
We call it populism, but it doesn't mean they're doing things that are popular because they want to give the people what they want. It means that they're doing things that are popular in order for them to benefit from the popularity.
Right.
So I'm not a fan of populist politicians.
no, I can understand that.
Yeah.
John,
Nor should any of us be.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's a quick way to
exactly.
skip over it. John, quick question for you, my friend. Maybe the last question. For the budding atheists, the ones that are coming out in England and they're not exactly sure what to do, because sometimes when you become a new atheist, a new apostate, you kind of feel alone. What would the message from John Richards be for this new atheist?
Well, join us. We've got a website. We've got a YouTube channel. We're active on Facebook and Twitter. It's very easy to join Atheism UK, and we will help you to achieve a secular world. That's what we want, a secular world.
Fantastic.
That's great.
John, a quick plug. If people need to find you and find Atheism UK, where can they go?
Well, you can go to my YouTube channel, which is called Free Thought Productions, and you can email me at, let me give you an email address. Let's say secular, no.
Well, you can't just make it up. I mean,
I've got so many.
Right. Just pick the end.
The one I'm going to give you is called Skeptics in the Hub. That's SK, the American Skeptics, in the Hub, HUB, all one word, at gmail.com.
That's
Perfect.
great. Perfect.
There you
right
go.
on.
Thank you so much, John, for being on the show with us. But before I let you go, I got to have you say, hi, this is John Richard of Atheism UK, and I took a left at the valley.
I'm John Richards, President of Atheism UK, and I took a left at the valley.
Fantastic.
That was
Bravo.
great. Thank you so much.
Wow.
And that was John Richards of Atheism UK. Nice guy.
Absolutely. That was great.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I'm really glad that we actually took the chance to explore what goes on on the other side of the pond, like they're saying, right?
Yeah, we should get more people from different areas of like Europe.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
Kevin. Why haven't we gotten more?
It's on you, bro.
This is your job, Kevin.
It is. It's always on me. I know that. But I'm also glad that we also got a chance to debunk the idea that because this is something that's been bugging for a long time. The idea of there are no go zones in the UK because there's so many Muslims, and if you're a woman walking down there and there's a Muslim neighborhood, they're just gonna throw rocks at you because you don't have a head covered. Yeah, that's all bullshit. That's all conservative bullshit, as per usual.
Yeah.
Right. You say, where's the proof? And they're like, do the research.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, okay, well, I Googled and I didn't see that. So you tell me where to go research to find this proof of yours.
Or like, I fly there once a week just to throw rocks at women that don't have hijabi.
I'm just going to interject that we kind of forgot to do at the beginning of the show. And I know we had added a joke and all for Benjamin, but maybe we should announce Benjamin because this is his
because he's a new member.
Well, I was about to congratulate him on the first week, but thank you for pulling that now.
Oh well,
see,
Yeah, wow.
Oh.
Thank you, Ben.
Y'all two are just.
Yes. No, this is going to be a new regular occurrence.
Yes.
We're very happy to announce him.
We are. Ben's a new member of the show,
Yeah,
and he's an old friend, but a new thing. So he still has that new Ben smell.
Does totally.
Yes.
New Benjamin smell.
It's a spray, y'all. What's the spray?
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Benjamin, and thank you to Sabrina and Brentley as well, and thank you for listening to the show. You can find us at leftofthevalley.ca. You can send us an email at leftatvalley@outlook.com, and you can find us on Facebook or on Twitter at LATV Podcast. Give us a 5-star review wherever you find us. It helps us and helps others find the show. And you can also become a patron on Patreon.com/LATV. Patreon.com/LATV.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Especially that.
Now we're doing video, and I finally joined the 21st century.
I'm so proud of you.
Right.
We're getting
Even though they kept telling him that he had a face for radio, here's Kevin.
I
know, right?
Bud, you want to give a quick plug for Unapologetics?
Yeah, we do an Unapologetics panel stream every Wednesday. It's at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, check that out. Unapologetics panel stream, and check out the also just Unapologetics spelled with an X on any podcast player.
Fantastic.
The live stream is unedited. It's fantastic.
It's brilliant.
Yes.
We don't do a lot of editing of anything anyway. Coming up next week, we'll have a Black Satanist, Steve Hill.
I'm so
should be
excited
fun.
about that one.
Black guy and a Satanist. Wow, that should be great. We'll have on the 22nd. We'll have the Native Press of Roy Dahl. We'll come talk about First Nation issues, and then we'll also have the deconversion of Nathan Brown coming up, and we'll also have Steve Grumbine of Modern Monetary Theory in September. We'll also have Dr. Todd Frank Miller talking about critical thinking. Sorry, and we'll also have Mary B. Lepage talking about religious trauma. So
We have so many awesome guests coming up. This is going to be a lot of fun.
lots of great things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Until next time.
Have a great one.
Woo!
Bye.
Now let me take a sec on me. It sounds so hateful, but I swear to God, unintended, I find it disgraceful.
We'll put the rest out.